Hey guys, hello. Welcome to the Arsenal Truex Galaxy podcast. I am your host, Alonzo Lonnie Spencer. Yesterday, a few hours ago, the Arsenal game was on, and they lost they lost 1-0 to Brighton, not Brentford, Bayern Munich, and it was very frustrating to watch. Um, and I remember because they lost against Aston Villa, which was also a very disappointing result. And I remember Arteta saying in the press conference that we need our leaders to step up and all that mess. But you know, um, as expected, I kind of realized that Arsenal just don't have it right now, and to get to stages to where they need to be, they're just not there yet. And it showed today how, hey Stefan, how's it going, pal? How they looked on the pitch and how confused they were and they got outplayed. It seemed like, despite what the score had said, Brian Munich hit the post twice in one play, I think. And and this wasn't working out for them. And the lineup I thought was pretty strong. Tomiyasu came in for Zinchenko, which is always a positive. Anytime Zinchenko doesn't play is a good thing. But there was some rust there, I think, from Tomiyasu. He didn't play as much. He played against Aston Villa, and to me, even that still looked kind of sketchy. He filled in for Ben White. Yeah, exactly, Stefan. And we don't have it right now. I think the team is still down from uh, losing to Aston Villa. I think that took the soul from them a little bit. They didn't create much. It seemed like Udegaard was also kind of hurt there, Stefan, especially in the Aston Villa game. Arteta had said that he had a knock this time. You want a second, guys? Hi, Tom.
Lou,
How's it going, pal?
I'm tired. I've just not long home from work. I had to eat the curry. No, hang on. Scratch that. I did eat a curry. I didn't have to eat a curry. I had to eat, the things that required the sustenance, etc. However, no one forced me to eat a curry. It was like Alonso sat again. If you don't eat a curry, you can't come on show, you prick. That never happened. That was not a conversation that was had. But hello everyone.
Hey, so we were talking about. I was talking to Stefan about the game and how it seems like Arsenal and Arteta's Arsenal have had to go through experiences to make their teams better. Um, he said maybe this experience will serve them well for the future. Let's see. Yeah, so you know, it seems like lately, here, Tom, that Arteta's Arsenal have gone through levels to where they had to get a defeat to realize that they had to get better, and they have gotten better. What is your take on a neutral supporter on how you view things as far as how Arsenal are going to go and how they're going to take this loss moving forward? Because they lost two games in a row, one in the league and one in Champions League, and then got knocked out today. How
Yeah,
do you view them going forward in the future?
I think I, I think it's going to be quite damaging in the short term because of the fact that, to put it bluntly, you fucked your season in 4 days. Don't get me wrong, it's salvaged. Like, you're not out of the title race, but the way Arsenal fans have reacted to it makes me think most of you do think you're out of the title race, because obviously it's going to be very difficult, especially with the fact that Real Madrid, not Man City, so Man City are in your boat. So they're going to be playing similar amount of games now compared to yourselves. I personally think, in context of the game tonight, I could be wrong. I did watch it on off at work because I was working. I feel your team will look back on it and think you could have been more adventurous tonight. You could have gone for it a bit more, because I think there was bits like, I noticed there were parts in the game where you got the ball forward, but then you didn't. I could be entirely wrong, but it felt like you weren't willing to commit the bodies forward to try and like help your forwards.
Mm-hmm.
Because in case if it went wrong and then you'd let in a goal or let in another goal. No, I understand that, but at the same time, you lost anyway. So I think you might look back on it as like it's a missed opportunity, because that's the worst Bayern Munich team for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Quite frankly, you should. I don't want to say you should beat them. That's not necessarily true. What I mean is you'll probably regret that there have been far better Bayern Munich sides. Far better.
Of course, Tom. And, I hear this all the time about, players from different teams who are very good are out. That means it's like a bonus for Arsenal or any other team that they should go at them even harder now. So I don't know if there's a disconnect between the coach, the gaffer, and the team, or they're not getting it as a team, because they have been on such a good run that they take their opponents for granted. And I've seen that a lot with Arteta in the past and currently. The way he's set up is to just play conservative, and he doesn't want to be adventurous, like you had said. That's my issue with Arteta is like in the past, he's let leads in the games. He's let lower tier teams in, no offense. But he's had these teams that he should beat, or the Arsenal should beat, but yet they get a taste of old medicine by totally dominating them at their own game. As a fan of an opposing team, uh, do you think that that's accurate as far as Arteta not respecting the opponents enough to where he should already have a team that's ready to, I guess, be more proactive and be motivated to beat them, or do you think that he's just okay with just trusting his players to do the job?
I think ultimately, and this will partly answer your question, I think ultimately your team doesn't have the depth required to compete on multiple fronts, because the reality is that, well, you throw on Eddie and Nketiah, and I'm not digging at Eddie. Eddie's my boy,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, the fact you all have your opinions on Eddie and Nketiah tells me that basically you give him 100 grand a week cut 2 years ago, and it's like you're reluctant to use him, and then you throw him on in a situation where deep down you all know it's like a shot in the dark. There's no real plan behind it. I get the feeling, like, for example, I imagine you bought in Declan Rice to basically cover the fact that Thomas Partey doesn't play as many games, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then Thomas Partey doesn't play games, so you still have no depth, really. Like, Thomas Partey hasn't played a game since the last leg, but you've played multiple games since you last played Bayern Munich.
Mm-hmm.
And
See,
you might have played one game since then, actually.
and that's the argument that I heard on Ryan's channel was that, you take off Jorginho, who had a good game, and then your last resort is putting Trezor next to Odegaard and just hoping for the best. Well, Trezor is going to score goals at the number 9 position, not the number 8. And what's so frustrating is that there's a player in Partey, but Arteta seems to banish him from starting or even playing. And, you can only imagine how good Arsenal would have been had you had started Partey at number 6. Because Gino is getting older, and his legs aren't the same. And he would have been perfect, probably would have been perfect even coming off the bench or at least starting. And granted, it's a risk, but at this time, playing at Bayern Munich, yeah, it's a risk you got to take. And like BX, let me just highlight what I had to say in a second.
Your first 11 is incredible. Like your first 11 can go toe to toe with absolutely anyone, but it cannot go toe to toe with anyone in April because it's already played for the last 9 months with very little rotation. Because you can't afford to do the rotation because you haven't got the depth for it. It was a problem last year. It was a problem the year before, and you're increasingly making your first 11 better, which is what every team should do. Like that's not digging Arsenal out. Every team should do it, but you're still then finding yourself in situations that when certain players can't play, the replacements are not up to the task, in my opinion, judging by the results that tend to happen when that happens.
And what's so upsetting, what's so upsetting about that, Tom, is that in the past, Martinelli was so good defensively, and this is 2 games in now. This is 2 games in a row now where he's had defensive lapses in his defensive capabilities where he just goes missing or he's not man marking. Like Gary had always says, you gotta man mark your opponent because they will get open and they will score goals. And in a way, it's kind of unfair to take a dig at Martinelli, but he hadn't been the same in quite a while, partly because Arteta doesn't play him because he's come off injury again. My main point, Tom, is will Arteta figure it out before it's too late, or do you think he'll just stick with his guns and say, "Hey guys, go for it because we're this close to winning the title"? And you're right. As an Arsenal fan, I was defeated because we all know how it's going to go down. In this case, Liverpool had all of it. It seems like Arsenal had just got scored more goals in them, and City are going to run away with the title. At least that's what I think. And because we've seen this movie played too often, to where Man City can run away with it again because they have the experience of being, in this position again. So, do you honestly think I'm right about Arsenal blowing it, or do you think that I'm wrong in the sense that City are going to lose some games during this run, even Liverpool as well?
It's really hard to say because that week, that Sunday, where basically, or that Saturday and Sunday last week was a massive out. Do you know this is genuinely true, Alonso? Sorry, this is a slight tangent, but I think you'll be interested. Though. Someone had £10 on about 7 teams in England. They went with Villa to win at Arsenal, Palace to win at Liverpool, Ross County to beat Glasgow Rangers, or Sevco, or whatever you want to call them, Stefan. And they Fulham to beat West Ham. Basically, for £10, they won 100,010.
Is it?
Yeah.
In
I
England?
can't remember the whole bet, but basically, yeah.
Was it England?
Yeah, it was genuinely true. It was in the they call it the Racing Post. Like it's like a betting newspaper. Like you get in betting shops now. But it was basically it was a freak weekend where basically a lot of teams that should have not lost.
Sifco. So Tom, so I'm just trying to digest this loss because I felt how you felt over the weekend.
All I will say to you, right, and the reason I say it's slightly different to Leeds United, don't get me wrong, I'm not diminishing your hurt. I'm not going to do that to you. But I think it's really important that you contextualise the fact that you can just go again in August. You'll still be in the Premier League. You're going to be in the Champions League again. You just set about your business again. Make some right improvements. Get the transfer window right. Things like this. You just go again. It's not like you're gonna wake up tomorrow and the Earth's gonna stop spinning, etc. Like I was saying, similar. I did a quick appearance on Ryan's House, but basically, you just go again.
Mhm.
It's not like if you're in League One and you don't get promoted and your team is fucked because all your players are going to get. Who's going to steal players from Arsenal right now? Who's going to? Are you in any danger? Who's Saka going to want to play for other than Arsenal in the summer?
Yeah, you're right. But my concern, Tom, is we talk about our frustrations on Ryan's channel, or at least they did, and I just commented on the chat box. How frustrating it is when your key players don't show up, and people would mention, well, Jesus, Havertz, Martinelli, Saka, all these players seem like they were outplayed when they shouldn't have had. And there's certain beliefs that we could have won that game had we been on top of things. What do you think, what do you think Arteta needs to do to learn from this experience in the future to where he has dependable players on the bench that could do the job? Does he need to learn how to trust players more, or do you think he just that stubborn that he's not going to change?
I get you're angry, BX, but when you calm down and think about it rationally, you're still the second best team in England, based on the fact that you were last year and you're probably going to be again this year. Hell, you still might even win the thing. I'm not going to lie to you and say I think you will, but the fact is you still can. Like, it's
Because go ahead, Tom.
no. You're fine. Vent. No, it's fine.
Because I want to let you answer the question before I go on.
Wait, sorry. Can you just put up that bottom comment, please? Sorry, it's just something I don't
Listen,
hear from. I don't hear it from him very often. Yeah, and the one below that, please. Yeah, it's good. That's a lot. I like comments like that. I like. That's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, it's just feels nice. Anyway, but yeah, no. The fact of the matter is, it's not over. Don't get me wrong. As I said, I'm not gonna lie to you and say I think you will win it. I don't think you will. But the fact of the matter is, you can. You can. I fucking what I say ain't necessarily always gonna be fucking fat. I support Leeds United, so I've clearly got fucking problems of my own.
You're funny, Tom. Well, I mean, it's like ever since I supported Arsenal, you know, always on my friends, right? We have a chat about, they have pretty good falls, they have good winters, but it's always that spring, no matter who's coaching Arsenal. It could be Wenger, it could have been Emery, it could have been Arteta, aka Arteta, as a friend likes to say. What do you think this should change at Arsenal? Are they just not up for the pressure, or do you think that the gaffer himself, what needs to change? Because we've seen this so many times where they just struggled during just their parts of the month, that are months of the year. What is going on to where they always struggle at the end of the season?
I can tell you what I think most of the people are automatically gonna go with Arteta, get rid of Arteta. But ultimately, no, you could bring in Sir Alex Ferguson and you're still going up against a $1 billion juggernaut next season. It's
Mhm.
irrelevant. Like it doesn't matter who your manager is to some degree because of what you're up against. You're up against the team, and despite the occasional outlier, like Leicester winning the league, like the genuine anomalies that happen in sport because it's still sport, you are still ultimately going to find that 9 times out of 10. Excuse me, Curry repeating on me. Um, you aren't going to find 9 times out of 10 the team that spends the most money. And the key thing here is spends it relatively well. Because Chelsea spend the most money and they don't spend it well at all.
No.
So they're actually a great example of why Man City are an elite club, because they have the money, but they also identify their needs and etc. And they fill the gaps really, like they find Rodri, and I'm not going to say they found Haaland. Like you could be looking up down on Earth from a space station and see that Haaland's going to get you 30 goals a season. Like that doesn't take elite scouting, but the reality is the team that has the most money most of the time will win. Not every time, but enough times for me to confidently sit here and go, it don't actually really matter who your manager is next season. To the point where I wouldn't be Arteta, because I think he's done really well to compete with these teams.
Tom, it's interesting. It's interesting you say that because I was talking to my coworker, and most of the time, my coworkers are sports fans like myself. And before I started work, it was on Saturday. I asked them both because they were both watching the game. This was when Manchester United were playing. I think Brentford, right? Was that who they played? Manchester United played Brentford, right? Or was it
That sounds familiar.
Luton Town? Brentford.
No, Luton played Man City, I think.
So United played Brentford
But
or
Man United played Bournemouth this Saturday.
Bournemouth. All right.
Yeah.
So I was asking my coworkers, we're not friends. I asked my coworker David, who do you support? He told me Manchester City. I was like, why? Because they brought their trophies, and Israel laughed about it. And then he was like, yeah, I remember John Stones cleared the ball out the goal line one time. I'm like, okay, and you're a fan because they win a lot, right? And he didn't want to say why, but that was probably why. He was just making some random crap on why he supports City.
It's not going to be because he watched them every week when he was 10.
Right. Right.
Or it ain't going to be because his dad supported them since he was 10. Because I'm guessing he's in America, where football fucking barely was a speck on the map in America.
Right.
Not strictly true, but you get my point. It was like,
Right. Because, like, I mean, back then, when he was like 10 years old, maybe 5 years old, City were just a relegation zone team, but that always came in 16th or 15th.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
so there's no story with that. Anyway, so Tom, so yeah, I mean, you ask any City supporter how long they've been supporting City because well, their parents support the City. Other than that, they had no fans really. They're plastic fans, as they say.
They'll have a lot of fans in 20, 30 years' time. They will have a lot of fans, because that'll be like the generational thing, where then you will actually find the children of people that support City, and people can't then call them glory hunters because they've supported them since birth and things like this. I mean, they didn't come out of the womb going woo Haaland, but you know what I mean. Just
Aguero.
yeah, exactly. But
So yeah, Tom. I mean, like you guys said, if it wasn't for oil money, they'd still be crap. As far as teams like Liverpool, Arsenal, United, they have that legendary, first division top flight football in them. Um, so yeah. So Tom, so where do you honestly see Arsenal finish at the end of the year?
I think it'll be second. I think you'll finish
Second.
second. I don't even say that like if it turned out to be true, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, I fucking knew it or whatever. I feel like it's the common sense pick, but because you yourselves, in the course of one Sunday afternoon, put you and Liverpool collectively put Man City in the driving seat, and that is the fucking worst place to put Manchester City in a title race.
Yeah, because I was looking at the graphic about the table where they're at. I believe it was halfway to the season, and of course you saw Liverpool at top. You saw Villa, City, and Arsenal at one point, and people were saying, "Well, yeah, Villa have a chance," and all that because of the fact that they were playing so well at one point and still are. And then you've seen City chasing both Villa and Liverpool. Well, now Villa, of course, Liverpool are in third by goal differential. We're second, and then City are first.
The
So
real thing.
go ahead,
Sorry,
Tom.
go on, Lonzo. No,
No, go ahead.
what I was sorry. What? Sorry, it's rude of me. But the actual thought that was entering my head was the thing that did you last year was the fact that you didn't beat Man City. Like, you didn't get anything from Man City last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you got anything from Southampton. So you didn't get anything off the top team. You didn't get anything off the bottom team. Because I recall you had, was it like a 3-3 draw with Southampton at home? It was
Yeah,
something like that.
because they came back. Arsenal came back, made a game
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. In hindsight, yeah, I remember it. But the fact is, in a title race, you need to beat the team that are 20th. Like in the moment when you're like 3-1 down at home to Southampton, sat in 20th, and they were dog shit. Leeds beat them, for context. Leeds beat Southampton at home, for context, right? So Junior Firpo scored. Fuck's sake. Anyway. It's one of the greatest days of my life, to be honest. Anyway. But the fact of the matter is, the fact you were 3-1 down, whatever, and you did well to put it back to 3-3, but you might as well have lost the game because you needed all 3 points. You didn't get them. But anyway, my point this year, you then rectified it because then you were like, oh, okay, we're actually going to take 4 points off of Man City, which means they're not taking 6 points off of you. So double bubble, fantastic. But then you still got to beat the teams you should beat.
And that's my problem, Tom, is that when I saw a lineup on Sunday, I thought, oh God, here we go. One of those signature Arteta let's mess around and find out kind of lineups where I knew Tom. It was a recipe for disaster because like I said before, people say, oh yeah, um Douglas, what's his name? Douglas Luiz is not going to play. Okay, yeah, that may be true, but who cares? They still have good players on that team. Hello, Gary. Welcome to the podcast. So that they're gonna bring something out other than David Luiz because David Luiz is a good midfielder, but a good manager always has somebody else ready to play. And that's the issue with Arteta. He doesn't have players. He has players, but he doesn't have them ready to play. Or ready to do something off the bench, as they say.
I feel like you've gone from having a semi-competent 11 to having a semi-competent bench, which again, it's not a problem in August when your players are fit.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the business end of the season, and then you're looking over and you're throwing on Eddie, and none of you have confidence in Eddie Nketiah. I have confidence in Eddie Nketiah, but what I think doesn't fucking matter when you throw him on in Germany. So give him the ball. Give him the ball. You don't give him the ball.
I'm with you, Tom. I think if the players understood that they have a proper striker in there, that he would score goals. But if I were Eddie Nketiah, I'd be disappointed because you're starting, Jesus and Havertz over him, and ideally they're not strikers, and so it's a mess. I mean, Arteta is very stubborn, and he'll play Zinchenko over Kvyat 9 times out of 10 for some reason. He'll start Jesus over Nketiah for every reason. Who's Gary? Hi, Gary. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast.
I was thinking to myself, might be cool to come on and chat with you guys. I wonder if Lonzo sent the. Oh wait, he did send the link.
Hang on. So, Gary, when will you be engaging in battle with Luke Skywalker?
Well, I'm ready to go now. I'm ready to go now. No.
I suspect that may be the case. I was saying to Gary, sorry, I will shut my mouth in a second. Let Gary have his say. 'Cause I know he's got a lot to say. He's never not got a lot to say with his Arsenal. And after a night like tonight, I'm sure you can just run the clock and it would make it to the 5th hour and it'd still be going with depth and all the rest of it. It's fine. There's nothing
Oh
wrong with that.
man.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. Okay. I'm just
Yeah.
like, but and I said all that and I've already forgot the original thing I was going to say. But yeah, so I should probably just shut up now.
So Gary, so I know you've probably been hearing and watching. So what do you think Arteta got it wrong today, as far as lineup is concerned?
Uh, He's got it wrong. He's been getting it wrong the last 3 games. 3 games on the trot, he's got it wrong. They all look the same, right? They all look the same. The second half of games, we're just getting outdone either by our players, by our subs, by our coaching, and all of that. And it happened again. 3 games in a row now. We've come out like 3 games in a row, right? We've come out the second half and not looked the way we should have, or started. The first half's always been the same, right?
Hmm.
There's at least 2 goals, 2 to 3 goals in us in each of the halves we've played, and we've only produced, I think, 3 goals. 2 goals actually. We didn't score today, right? So, yeah, I think we're better than that, right? I think we're better than that.
Do
So
you,
yeah, no, I think he's got it wrong. Yeah, in a lot of ways, or the team, as a manager, and all of that. Yeah.
do you think that Arteta is taking it too conservatively to where he'll trust a certain eleven too much, and he's just not. He just is nervous to go all out, or do you think he's just very stubborn in his ways to where he's not making enough effort to make a change?
Yeah, no, he definitely has a set number of players he's going to play, and doesn't matter how they're performing, he will stick with them, and I think that's hurt him. I mean, last season, think about this. Last season, many said Saliba's out of the game. That's going to hurt us, right? And that's probably
Mhm.
where the downfall was. We've got Saliba now, and it doesn't look, defensively we're still a little leaky at the back and all that stuff, and that's not all on him, but it's a bigger question than the starting 11, and that Arteta has not understood. I mean, we have to have more than the number of players that we have now. I mean, we sat there and talked about it probably for like 20, 30 minutes on the last game. What is Thomas Partey doing on our bench?
Mhm.
His his last play for us potentially could have got us a late goal in the Champions League quarterfinals if we got the PK. All right, that's the last touch he's had.
Hmm.
And in the next 2 games, we have not seen him play. Is he injured? Like what more do you have to do? He comes on late. He produces a winning play for you. You've been needing a winning play the last 2 games. and nowhere to be found. Like what? Not only that, but you don't even. It's not like Jorginho's taking his minutes. Jorginho didn't even play the last game. So like, what's going on with that? Like, yeah, this is it's gonna put a lot of it should put a lot of pressure on Arteta. Like, think about this. He had the two owners at the game today.
Oh wow.
Like, if they knew anything about football, supposedly they do. They would just watch this. Like, what is going to be their analysis of what they just saw? Do they think it was a close game, so it could have gone either way, or do they really like look at outcomes? We had an opportunity one to be in the lead. We were in the lead for 2 weeks, and now we're sitting on the outside looking in. And
Do do you think that the owners keeping in touch with Arteta as far as opportunities lost, or do you think they just sit back and let Arteta do the job? If I'm them, I'm very frustrated with the fact that we've come this far just to lose at Bayern Munich and just to be okay with coming in second place now, as Tom had predicted himself as finishing.
Yeah,
Do you
no,
think it
this is
becomes an issue, Gary?
I think it should be. Do I think it actually is? I mean, it doesn't seem like it. Like, there should be some pressure on him. Like it, like, and we always seem to come close, get a little better, but never cross the line. And we need to be able to cross the line in some of the aspects of the game that we're playing in the tournament and the cups that we play. You know what I mean? Like, does
Mm-hmm.
anybody feel like this is that? Remember how we have these little 3 game skids,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're in that now. This is our third drop points. We got our second loss in a row, right? And if we were to lose on Saturday, that'll be our second time in the season, which means we're doing really well. But we don't usually lose back-to-back Premier League matches. We've only done it once this season, so we're pretty good about responding. So if we don't respond, that's not a good sign because that would mean 3 losses in a row, two back-to-back losses in the league. I'm like, where are these players going to get the strength to be able to play come Saturday? They look dead in the last 3 matches. So how's it going to get better traveling to Wolves? Like, Wolves is a team that will just run over us if we let them.
Mm-hmm. And the
Right?
Wolves
They've been sitting around for a week now. They're rested.
are a very good team as well, Gary, because in any given day they could upset a higher seeded team on the table. So you never know what they're going to get out of Wolves. Tom, what do you think about what I just asked Gary about how the owners care enough to tell Arteta, hey guy, you got to get your groove on because if not, it's the same thing as last year. You borrowed it again, in a
Well,
sense.
well, similar to what Stefan's just said, I think the owners sit there like, "Oh, that's a shame. We're out of the Champions League. Now let's get on back. Let's get back on with the business of qualifying for the Champions League." That's
Right.
how the owners generally see it. Of
More
course,
money.
they're going to want to win something, but ultimately, this isn't as big a disaster to them as if you told them, "Oh, if you lose this weekend, you drop out of the top 4." Then it'd be a fucking problem, pardon my language. It'd be a
The
problem
pro-
needing to be solved.
yeah.
Go on, Gary.
But
No, I'm just saying that could happen. That could
you
happen. I
think
don't
you'll
know if
drop
I've
out of
done.
top 4?
So let's just say, what if the FA get their stuff together and charge City with the 115 counts? Do things change then, or do you guys expect City to fight it and it drag on to like 4 or 5 years?
City are going to wipe the floor with the Premier League in the courtroom,
Wow.
in my opinion. Whether they're guilty or not, right? And we all know they've done something dodgy. Generally speaking, you can't do 115 of anything without it looking shady.
Hmm.
Gary's shocked by something. I'm assuming he's frozen or he's disappeared or something like that. I'm sure he'll be back. But I think Man City generally, the fact of the matter is, just based on the fact that if the Premier League should have just done them the first time, done the first or second time, because I bet they don't even really know where to start to punish them. Because
Yeah.
where do you start? What do you start with? The 78th charge? What is the 42nd charge? What have they done wrong on the 47th charge? What happened on that charge 86? What happened on charge 114 to make the Premier League think, oh, this is getting a bit much, isn't it? What happened on 115 for the Premier League to go, no, you know what? We have to do something. We have to say something. What happened? Why? Like, there's so many questions about this that I want answered. Not even necessarily relating to actually punish them. Just more, why did it go this far?
Tom, I
Like,
feel your pain, pal.
why is it? Why is Everton doing it wrong, but not as wrong as evident it should be? And Man City fine, and I know that's the obvious question, and I know the reality, like the rational thing is, of course, it's going to take longer to punish Manchester City than it is anyone else, because at the end of the day, if Everton have done one thing wrong or two things wrong, that is far easier to sort out and identify than it is 115. Because as we said before, where do you start? Well, obviously, logically, you start with charge number one. But then my question to that is, why didn't you say anything on charge number one? Why was charge number one allowed to happen until it became charge 115? There's just so much. There's so much questions I have on this, and I'd nail them to the mast. And I'd have the. I have more questions for the Premier League itself than Manchester City, personally.
Gary, what are your thoughts, Gary? Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, no, I you know what? It's for me, those 115 charges are essentially to me a white Bronco driving down a California highway with 30 police officers behind it, and not one of them wants to pull it over.
Interesting.
That's what that is to me. What I mean, because like everybody knows that they did it, but we all feel like we all know now that they're probably just going to get off, right? Right. So
Hmm.
that
There's
that's
so
that's
many charges that I just think they're just going to throw. I think they're bringing in new rules just basically so they don't have to go over these new charges or these
yeah.
charges. They can just go, oh, this new clean slate. Everyone's fine.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like they said, oh no, no, for all those past transgressions, they will be, the appropriate
Yep.
investigation and result will come
Yep.
out of that. And everybody, not
Yep.
one person believes that will happen to City.
Yep. They'll turn around to Manchester City, Gary, and they'll go, we're going to fine you £17 million. And Man City owners will go, do you want it in cash?
No, they're gonna go. They're actually gonna go. No, we're going to go and get what is it called when they can go back and have it reviewed again just to see
I know, they'll
if the
appeal it.
17
No,
is
in
probably gonna
reality, they'll appeal it.
yeah
Of course they will.
they'll appeal it and then it'll be 7 mil and then everything's sorted, right, everything's fine.
Yeah.
So
Or in
I
reality,
I
they'd
I
rather
think
give
I
their money to a lawyer than the Premier
yeah
League.
yeah I see that whole thing as, like I said, it's a joke. It's not, they're not going to do anything, because if they were, they would have done, like you said, if there's 115, just pick one, and then if you can find, if Everton and the Forest and any whatever, and sorry, Leicester and all these teams can have like whatever 4 and 5 issues, and they can be a point, have points deducted. If you don't have any of that on City, then they're wasting their time, and they're not doing any justice for the league. And like this is where, for me, the other 200 teams or 20 teams. Like I don't even know how you calculate how many teams should be looking at this going, well, that that sucks for us, right? We didn't cheat, and they're not even going to get punished. So what's the point? Why should we follow your rules if you're not even going to follow your own rules, right? You're not following your own rules. You said they can't do certain things. They did it, and then you went, you know what? We'll change it tomorrow, and hopefully you guys will forget about what happened today. That's kind of what I see happening. So I don't like if they really did something, then they like what are we waiting for another year for?
Mhm.
Like
Even if
the
they
league should the
tomorrow,
league shouldn't have to the league should go, here it is, this is the penalty. You did all these things. Like what what is City gonna come back with? Like City's like, no, we'll talk about this in a couple of months. No, you talk about it now. It's it's the FA, it's the Premier League. Why should they have to wait for any of this stuff? Right?
Gary
Like why should
talking
they
like a father. No, we'll discuss it now.
no, think about it. Like you know what? Like the league is wasting they're wasting their time, all right? And like why should anybody take them serious? Right? They rather go after managers running up and down on the side on the touch line than the actual big problems in the league, right?
I'm envisioning a giant. Envisioning a Manchester City badge, and Gary's the father of it, and it's walking up to Gary, and it's gone. No, I'll have my homework. I'll do my homework after I've gone outside to play. And then Gary's like, no, 115. You will do your homework now. We'll talk about it now. Now.
Yep.
My teammate.
Like I said, I don't feel like they're not, here's the thing: they are punishing the rest of the league. Like they're punishing you. They're punishing everybody in the championship, right? Everybody in any other league below,
Yep.
right? They're punishing everyone. They're not punishing just the top six, the big six or whatever. They're punishing everybody because they basically said, you know what? The more money you have, and the more prestige and the more trophies you win and all that kind of stuff, it's good for the league, so it's good for us, and we don't care that you got it the wrong way.
It's
But
clearly
guess what,
not
you
good
little
for the
guys?
league because
Guess
all
what, you
the
little
English
guys? The
teams
guys,
will be out of Europe by tomorrow.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's Villa is still in because Villa won, right? It's Villa.
Oh yeah.
Villa might still be in.
No, you're right because no, you're right because the Europa Conference League is basically an English club actually has to work hard to try to not win that.
Mm.
Like how Tottenham had to beat Tottenham in it. Tottenham are probably going to be like the only English club to never actually win that trophy, in my opinion. Because obviously,
Yeah.
because they were like, "Oh, this is nothing." All right, it's like, yeah, you're not
Mm.
going to say that though when it comes to the end of the season. You've still won nothing. You'd be like, "Oh, we probably should have took that more seriously." Yeah.
Yeah, so like Everton is getting punished twice. Leicester is getting punished, and you know if they come back into the league, why wouldn't they come back into the league? I mean, I understand like they should just get punished now when it actually hurts and it stings, right? Not when they've
I
actually
think
got reaped the benefits of what they look. They just like basically that's like saying, you know what, you stole $100 for me and you bought a lottery ticket and you hit the lotto. So we're just gonna fine you at $100 that you stole.
yeah, they don't want to punish Everton in a way that actually affects them.
Because
They
if they
want
do,
off
then
them. They
everybody's gonna
want to
want them to do it in the
inconvenience
city.
them. Yeah, they
Yeah.
want to inconvenience Everton, but I don't actually want Everton to get relegated.
Yep.
How come, Tom?
I think there's yeah, you're right, Stefan. That was a great analogy from Gary. To be fair to him, I don't know. Like I'm probably biased in it, but I just feel like they don't want to. They don't want to do anything that actually disrupts the integrity of the competition, despite the fact that Everton's spending disrupted the integrity of the competition.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, all of these transgressions have been against all of your rules. Like
Yeah.
FA, Premier League, whatever, whoever it is that's running the show, they basically took your rules and just flushed it down the toilet and said, you know what, I don't care for your rules. I'm going to do what's good for me.
I'm
And
going to be seen as really bitter towards Everton, right? And it will come off like I'm being really irrational. Yet I know a certain gentleman. For argument's sake, we'll call him S. Herentonio. No, wait. That's too obvious. We'll call him Stefan H. Who, whenever you hear the word Bournemouth, he will bring up something that happened in 1983. So he'll bring up something that happened 41 years ago. Okay, relating to Ipswich and Bournemouth and Leicester as a promotion battle in I believe it was the old League Two. Correct me if I'm wrong, sir. Where basically one team phoned it in, one team benefited from it, and the other team was Ipswich. The team that didn't benefit from it was Ipswich, right? He still brings that up whenever you mention Bournemouth, which I'm not against him doing that. Just it suits this. Whereas, like, I'm now for the rest of my life going to hate Everton because their behaviour negatively impacted my team,
yeah, yeah. Well, I
and
mean
they
that's the
weren't
thing.
punished for it.
You're saying this, but what if City has done what they said they've done?
Yeah.
That's affected the entire league because guess what? From all the way from the second position team in the Premier League all the way down to the bottom, all the way down to Sunday League, basically, essentially. They've all been affected by negatively, some harsher than others, but still, it's affected. You circumvented all the rules, and it's affected everybody, right? Because we talk about who should have won if City didn't win, right? Who shouldn't have got relegated, right? Who may not have got promoted. All these things are just a trickle down effect, right? So, like, that's why they needed to just fix, either lie to us and tell us they punished them, and we know they didn't, or if they did do what they said, what's been said, you punish them and you move on, right? So I
Still,
like
still
I
don't
rather than just lie,
remember
just
everything.
don't even lie. You can lie to my face because then I understand, right? Right? They can just say, you know what? After further investigation, we have found the city has done nothing wrong,
That
so
would
we
be so
can.
funny. Don't get it'd be awful, but it would be hilarious at the same time. Right, and the only reason I say it'd be hilarious, right? Don't get me wrong, in terms of like competition, that obviously it'd be so fishy and spurious and all kinds of adjectives to describe we did. Well, that's a football league shouldn't have sent Leeds there on May Day, on Bank Holiday
Yeah,
Monday in May, knowing we'd
yeah.
all be drunk. Anyway, not we.
Yeah.
I don't know
You know
why.
what?
I was like 6
Here you
years
go.
older.
Here you go. I know what's gonna happen. You know how you get the DVDs that come out and stuff like that? There will be a DVD coming out, a city DVD for the last 10 years called "If We Did It."
hang on, hang on, hang on. Let's play a game called Who Made Two OJ Simpsons references today. Let's play that. Hands up. What's that, Gary? Your hand should be going up right about now. It's the
I don't know
second
what you're talking
OJ
about.
Simpsons reference.
It's just something I heard. I don't know. I saw this.
Oh, the Ford Bronco movie. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Gary. Very kind. Can't believe you went along with that. Anyway, but um, but no. In all seriousness, I would find it funny just because I know the internet, as we know it, would probably implode. It would
Yeah,
cease to exist.
yeah. You know what? That will be not probably not Super League level, but it should be.
Yeah.
It should be Super League level, right? That should be like the same kind of visceral that came out about the Super League should come out about that. If
Mm.
at the end of all of this nothing happens, right?
So, so Tom, so how far is Ipswich from Bournemouth? I'm just curious to know, because Stefan
Not
H brought it up.
not far enough for an actual war to probably break out, but far enough that you could probably send a small but dirty device through the air and it might reach me.
So I'm going to ask you guys a question, and Tom, I'm going to go with you first. Leeds lost over the weekend. How do you see Leeds regrouping, and how do you see Arsenal regrouping? And I'll ask you the same thing, Gary. Tom?
So I'm enjoying the fact that my team won't be playing this weekend. I believe we play Monday night and then we play Friday night in classic Sky Sports scheduling, which a lot of Leeds fans are going to say Sky's really biased against us. They don't like us. They put us on at the worst times. They're really inconvenient for the fans' times, things like this. But what I found through doing my own lead show, I'll do a segment where we basically look at what fans are saying about the commentators. And the thing I've discovered is every group of fans thinks that Sky hates them. Every group of fans sits there and got like I was looking at the two main commentators for Sky, the colour analyst, I believe as the Americans call it, is the a guy called either Don Goodman or Andy Hinchcliffe, and I looked over at the tweets made about them when I believe Blackburn played Ipswich on Good Friday, or no, the Monday, or it might have been Friday. Excuse me. Anyway, and you had loads of Ipswich fans writing, "Oh, he hates us. He doesn't want us to win." But then the Leeds fans will write the same thing about the same people, and then you'd find the Blackburn fans think that he does. It's like, how can he not like all teams? It's mental. Even Stefan hates him. I'm assuming, and I know he's probably going to say, "Oh, I don't hate anyone." But if you were walking past him after he had, if he was on fire after he had just commentated on an Ipswich defeat, and you were holding a glass of water, would you drink it? I'd consider it personally.
So, Tom, who do Leeds play on Monday night?
I've actually forgot the order of the way round, but I believe it is away at QPR on the Monday and then away at Middlesbrough on the Friday. But I can double check it actually, to be fair. Monday, no, we're away at Middlesbrough and then away at QPR on the Friday, and we need to win both games, obviously. I think it may present a problem because I think similar to your team's problem, I think our team looks shattered.
Hmm. So, how do you see Arsenal, Tom, moving forward?
I think you're also shattered because I think you've played a lot of games, and I don't think the answer for it is to play less games. I just think this is the problem that comes with the success of playing well for a lot of games. Is that you've put in a lot of effort to do that, and then you end up spent.
So, we play Wolves and Chelsea. How do you see those games going, Tom?
I think you'll beat Chelsea because you always tend to do well against Chelsea at the end of the season, especially when Chelsea are on the beach. Because they tend to have a very end of school year vibe to them whenever they play you in April or May.
Do you think that Wolves will be a tougher opponent, or do you think Chelsea would be, given the fact that they're a rival?
It depends what Chelsea you get, because the Chelsea that plays against everyone that's not the Big Six is usually rubbish. Not against Everton, though, obviously. But they tend to play up for the Big Six, like the other Big Five teams in the six. Like the Chelsea that plays against Man City tends to be a different Chelsea to the one that plays against Palace, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's what makes the Premier League so odd, is because then the Palace team that plays against Liverpool probably ain't going to put in that level of performance against Sheffield United. Actually, they might, because everyone beats.
All right, Gary, what do you say about Leeds moving forward as well as Arsenal?
Yeah, I mean, first thing, one of the things that Mr. Tom said was they look shattered, and I think that's it's the case for a lot of people. I mean, playing midweek games, I think is as harsh as it is, and then having to pay what 44 games is it or 46 games, whatever it is.
We're
You
we're
know, I think
43
is
games into a 46 game season.
yeah.
Wow.
So they're playing a lot of games, multiple times a week. Uh,
Hmm.
I think it's a mental drain as much as it is a physical drain. I
Yeah,
mean, you've seen Leicester go through. They looked really good for a while, but eventually that wears on you. And the same thing you said. At some point, the bubble bursts, and then bang, you go through a little bad stretch, and it looks like that. You go from double-digit lead in the in the league to like fighting to get back into the top two, right? So um, I think it's going to be a lot of mental fortitude and being clinical in front of goal. 'Cause I think that's the key thing for Leeds. A lot of times they're in front of goal, and they put away some of those goals. Guess what? The game changes, and that's where like
Mhm.
the start of the game matters, right? If Leeds scores early in games, you know that could change that.
yeah,
That changes the whole mindset of the game going forward. The other team that doesn't think they have a chance knows now they don't have a chance because they're behind. And anytime they open up, they know they're going to get punished. So they mentally they're thinking about, should I do
hmm,
this? And then late in games, you've seen what happens. You've seen it to Leeds, right? Late in games, other teams like, well, once again, this is my going to be. I guess this is going to be my phrase for the season. Well, if you don't want it, maybe we'll take it from you.
Mhm.
And that's happened. They've lost some games late with teams that they get that one opportunity, they take it and play it well. So, yeah, no, I mean I think Leeds. It's all good for me. In the first 30 minutes, probably tell you how these things are going to go. If they're able to, because
yeah,
they have some really good players that can get into positions to score at any time, but they need to do it early because I think that then helps out the team and that takes a lot of weight off your shoulders, makes things a lot easier, makes it easy to make that run to go make that tackle to save that goal, that tying goal that might happen. But when you're like it's still 0-0, you hesitate for a second, the other team's gone, and
yeah.
yeah,
It's
and
true.
you look up and you're looking at a poor score
Even at
line.
our most dominant, the other team will get a chance.
Yeah. Well,
They
you know
just
what?
do.
City gives you chances. The problem is you don't take them, and
Hmm.
then usually what happens right after that is they punish you because you didn't take your chance. They
Do
show
you
you
find
why
with
you need
Man?
to be clinical.
Do you find with Man City you get because you have to be so wary of them punishing you. Teams then tend not to commit as many players forward in that situation as they maybe should to because you don't want to get caught out when you do have the chance. So
Because we've seen teams come at City early in games and then just hold on tight, right? West Ham has done that over the years. Come out and you're like, they don't seem to be too threatened by City.
mm,
And we've seen Newcastle come out and do similar things to them. We've seen teams lower in tables just come out and just go, you know what? And the problem isn't that you don't even get that you miss your shot. Sometimes you didn't even take you make an interception in midfield, and because you're so concerned, you don't even just attack them at that point of the field. Next, thing you know, you're resetting your offense and you're just giving
yeah,
them time. Whereas sometimes you just take that advantage and you counter immediately. Everybody knows what's about to happen, right? If you're not up there, then you just hold back and make sure you're there for any kind of counter the other way. But if you're up there, you're making runs into spaces and catching them out before they even have a chance to think about it. Because if you let them settle, you're in trouble, right? Because then you miss your window. That's a problem I think that happens. Is teams never even get the shot off because they never even take the initiative to just go ahead and take what City. You know what? I always say this: take what the defense gives you. Take what the offense, what the other team gives you. They give you an opportunity to attack, you take it. You know, you have them
uh,
chasing you as opposed to you chasing them.
I'd like to congratulate the following individuals as
Mm.
they held the EFL awards. Sorry, yeah. the English Football League awards were awarded on Sunday, I believe. It
Mm.
happened as my show was going on, so I couldn't actually reference it. So Championship Player of the Year, congratulations to Somerville. Not the biggest
Wow.
surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Young Player of the Year, Archie Gray.
Mm.
Again, not the most biggest surprise. Although someone on social media did say, "Oh, it should have been Jack Clark from Sunderland." Jack Clark from Sunderland, who's been eligible for that award for 6 years at this point.
Wow.
6 years at this
Wow.
point, like because I think it's up to the age of 23. It's like I'm sure Phil Foden's still technically eligible for Young Player of the Year. I might be
No, I
slightly
don't.
off the
I
mark there.
thought he's 24 now.
All right, fine, but
Because I think he's a
he's
couple
been
years older
eligible
than
for it
Saka,
for
and
yeah.
Saka's 22 now, so I think he's
Mm.
not in that list anymore. So, you know.
But like you went like James Milner was eligible to win it for about 7 years, if I remember rightly. At some point, it's like
Mm.
at what point do you stop being Young Player of the Year candidate when like you've been nominated 7 times?
Well, that's like you see like the Academy Awards or something like that, and it shows like you can win it twice or something for like the first. You're like, wait, didn't they just win it last time for this same category? Yeah, but they it was only a month or two into the movie, and they still continue to do well. It's like that doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
Yeah, you can only be like young should be 20 and under. I mean these players, especially now, as you said, some of these players have been playing for 3,
Mm-hmm.
4 years, depending on where they are professionally. Um, so yeah,
Oh, the manager of the year apparently was some guy he used to work for Man United. So
he
I
used to
think
work
I
for
think
Man
he
United.
currently manages Ipswich, but
Oh man, look at that.
congratulations to him, I suppose.
Hmm.
So Gary, so where do you see Arsenal going up on Saturday afternoon? Or how do you
Arteta's
think
gonna give.
Arteta is going to play?
Yeah, I already said I think he's gonna bring Partey out. Like now that we don't need him in some crucial games, so play him in this one. You know, that's what because he seems to always do stuff like that. Or if not, then Partey shouldn't even be on the bench. You know what I mean?
Right.
He shouldn't be. If he's not going to play on Saturday, then he should be like officially done with Arsenal. Because I just like, what's the point? You know. So
Mm-hmm.
I think Arteta will just go strong again. These guys will go out there and hopefully they give something good in the first 45 minutes and able to control the game and put it away early, kind of thing. Otherwise, it's going to be another second second half where you're like, when the wheels going to come off now? If we are not 4 points ahead of City after when City finally gets their next game in the Premier League, then like the season finishing first could be out of the window, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we did this last season, right? Like City went into the game having to win it to win the league. Started the whistle blew and they'd already won the league, right? Like you have to at least make them work for it. They didn't even have to work for it. They went into a game and they just could have just handed them the trophy as they were walking out to the pitch, like season over for a title charge there. So we have to do a lot better, like seeing this thing out. We started slow and we're in the same place we were last season.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Remember, everybody's looking at the way we were playing, like he's conserving us for the end of the season run. Here we are, end of the season run, and we're doing some of the same things. We look like we're doing the same thing. We're gonna finish with our team depleted in terms of their energy levels. It's gonna be a struggle.
What is disappointing, Gary, is we're healthy now, and there's no excuse, like you said. Do you see Arsenal making any other changes to the lineup?
Changes
Yeah.
like this season. Like, what do you
No,
mean?
I mean to Saturday.
The Saturday? Oh, I mean, Well, Jorginho won't play because he doesn't play back-to-back games. So either Havertz will play in the midfield, or like I said, I would be not surprised if Partey plays. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, players that were like Erdegaard was doubtful coming into this game. I would not be surprised if he's not available. I mean, it's
Do you
nice.
then
I mean, yeah.
do you then start maybe Ineos Rowe and or Vieira just get rest, or do you just stick with Rice and somebody else to take over for Odegaard?
Yeah, I kind of feel like Milser Fro, like Vieira, like he hasn't even seen. I don't think he's been some on the bench and seen in a while.
Mm.
So I can't see Vieira coming in. Milser
Ouch.
Fro's actually played in the last week, right?
Yeah.
Katie has played in the last week, in the last week. Nelson has not played. Um, then he was on the bench today, and of course, our favorite Cedric, I think, was on the bench today. I I'm hoping he's found the some magic, the genie in a bottle type thing.
Hmm.
We need to see a totally different team come out, and it doesn't seem like it's going to happen with our bench players. They don't. They have not played football in a bit, and Wolves at home
It's
licking their
hard.
lips, man. They,
Yeah, like I told Tom, they're a very good mid-table team, and they can turn up at any given moment. We've seen it this year with them. They've been in some good games.
Mhm.
I think they should be better than where they are at, but I think they're just content with being the one that always upsets the bigger sides. Um,
But you
yeah,
think they've had injury issues and stuff like that. They're
yeah,
not as deep a team as you think,
I've
right?
been working on a formula, a top secret formula
Oh
for
boy.
how to stop Man City winning the Premier League, and I'm
Mm.
ready to reveal it.
Oh
I'll
crap.
let you in on the secret, obviously just
Mm.
between us two, or us three rather. It's this.
yeah.
You know what? I think the that might be the one thing they can't. You think it is, but you just don't know. Like the what City's got going on. Even Harry Kane can't break that spell. Can't continue to infiltrate and destroy teams. I think I don't think no. I would love that to be the case. I just don't see it. I mean, I think that would be even worse. It'd be like Harry Kane hits for like 40 goals in a season or something like that. You know, just because that's the way football gods work. Harry Kane goes there, and next thing you know, you're like he's all up and down the the records, right? The records have all of his names all over it, and he's got trophies. So now, yeah, no, I don't think that. No. Harry Kane's fine where he is in Germany. Mhm.
Harry Kane. So
Yeah, but
speaking
listen,
about,
I'm gonna have to go though. I'm sorry,
all
I've
right,
been,
I'm calling
yeah.
Gary. See you. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming
All right,
on. Appreciate it.
all right, see ya. Yep, yep.
So, Tom, I saw a tweet earlier in the week. I think it was actually on Sunday about talking about Harry Kane, him captaining England. We've seen Jordan Pickford get annihilated by Chelsea 6-0. So is there a reason is there a reason why he's still England's number one goalkeeper? Or do you think that when time matters he'll be continuing to be England's number one goalkeeper? And why hasn't Southgate even considered him still on the team?
Generally, right, I think the reason Southgate persists with a lot of certain players is because they don't make mistakes when they're playing for England. Don't get me wrong, because I don't think England do anything special. It's hard to make mistakes when you play in such a safe and boring and reliable style.
Hmm.
So generally, I don't think Pickford's ever really put in a position where he has to really take any risks, do any. So of course, in Southgate's mind, he's like, he does what I tell him. I can trust him. Why would I swap him out for someone else?
Mhm.
Why would I not play Pickford and instead of a goalkeeper that doesn't even play for Arsenal, like Ramsdale, for example?
Right. I don't know. I just think it's pretty comical that an Everton team can give up 6 goals, and not only that, but a former England player, James Tarkowski, can be that bad to where he can't even defend properly.
He's a
Um,
fug. I don't know how he wasn't sent off at that. I don't know how he wasn't sent off for elbow smashing a player in the face. It was ridiculous. I've never seen such a blatant foul. The worst part was they got the penalty. But I think the first foul, because there was 2 fouls made in that sequence, and the first one I'm guessing was the one that was penalised, so he couldn't actually send the player off, or some bullshit rule or something. I don't know if it's facts, but I'm guessing that's why he wasn't sent off, because he just
yeah,
got in the
Tom.
face. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Don't get
I
me
mean,
wrong.
I
If
don't
one of
know.
the players did it, I'd love it, but still.
So in a way, I hope Everton to get relegated because clearly they don't know how to play football. Stan Dice doesn't know how to coach. It just became bad to worse, right, Tom? At least that's what I feel like. Um, so do you think they'll get relegated over Luton Town? We know that Sheffield
Nah,
United and Burnley are going to get probably relegated.
no, I think it'll be Sheffield United, Burnley, Luton.
Think
Because the
so?
problem is, Luton had their moment in the season where they've had their game where they won 4-0. They've had that against Brighton, I think it was. They've had their they've lost too many games in situations where they shouldn't have lost.
Hmm.
I know it happens, but generally speaking, the amount of times it's happened to Luton is the problem. You can't go 3-0 up in a Premier League match against Bournemouth and not win the match, or not even get a point. That's asking for trouble.
Hmm.
All right, you can be drawing with Arsenal going into injury time or whatever, and lose or whatever. That shit happens in football, but it's happened to them one too many times, and that's what's going to cost them.
Do you think, Tom, that Sammy Lakanga will become an Arsenal player, or do you think he'll get sold?
I assume he'll get sold because I think there will be exactly as Stefan just said. You can't go 4-2 up away at Newcastle and not win the game. They were
Right.
4-2 up in the second half as well. They scored 2 goals in the second half to go 4-2 up.
Didn't Anthony Gordon score in that game?
That sounds right. I mean, you could be right, yeah. Because it's not even like a Newcastle side that are doing particularly well.
Hmm.
Like they've had the Champions League run where, oh yes, tell your granddad or tell your grandkids you were there when you beat PSG that 4-0 or whatever it was, and it was like, yeah, but don't then follow it up by telling them they still went on to finish 4th in the group, kind of thing.
So, Tom, as you know, this is the Arsenal Tricks podcast. We talk about everything,
It
or
is.
especially, yeah. So,
Well,
so good to have you on. Right. So right now the Sixers are losing to the Heat, 51-39, I think, which
is that
kind of
the
sucks.
play-in game?
Yeah, stupid playing.
Okay, I don't understand how the tournament works. So if they win, do they then go on to another game and
They
then the
play.
playoffs, or
So, seeing how the Sixers are the highest of the seeds,
yeah?
if they lose this game, so the winner of this game, I think, they play the winner. They play the A seed, or not the first seed.
Okay.
The loser plays the winner of the 10th and 9th seed, I believe. So I think the Chicago Bulls and jeez, the Bulls play someone. The Hawks, right? So the Bulls play the Hawks. I believe tomorrow or tonight.
Yeah. The Bulls and the Hawks will play in 1 hour.
So the winner of this game will play the Sixers. If they're going to lose this game, they'll play the Sixers, and the winner plays the number 2 seed. Gosh, Tom. So the winner of this game plays the 7th seed. The winner of the 9th, 10th seed game plays the Sixers. If the Sixers lose, that team out of the tournament will play the number 1 seed. Essentially, the best record out of the playing teams will play. If they lose, they play the highest, the highest seeded teams. That's all confusing.
It's very confusing. I'm looking at it here. I'm listening to you, but I'm also trying to I found a diagraph of it, and basically 7th plays 8th, 9th plays 10th. But then whoever loses out of 7th and 8th will play whoever wins out of 9th and 10th, and then, but the winner of 7 and 8 plays the winner of the loser of 9 and 8. So basically, whoever plays 7th and 8th can end up playing again for the final spot. Basically, they could end up playing twice.
Loser, right?
Yeah, because the winner advances straight to the final of the playing tournament, whereas the loser then has to play the winner of 9th and 10th. So then that team can still end up. So basically, yeah, it's bollocks. But they're doing it obviously for TV to have like extra games. And I think the real reason also is because I think there was a element of teams were trying to tank to try and not get in. Once they felt like they weren't going to make the playoffs, they then thought it was beneficial to start tanking and things like this. So I don't know, I could be wrong. But they also just wanted to make it possible for slightly more teams to make it to the postseason, I'm guessing. Like in the NFL, when they expanded the wild card tournament.
Yeah. But Tom, I think the winner, yeah, so it says winner earns 7 seeds in East and play the next in the first round. So basically, the winner of this game advances already. They don't play again. They play again. They play the Knicks back then.
Yep.
So it's the loser that has played twice.
Yep.
Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, I'm hoping for the best for the Sixers, but it ain't looking good, Tom.
I was gonna say, like, it's half time, 39-51.
Because this game,
it seems like Philly will be playing again.
They turn the ball over like I think 6 times. On Stills alone, Tom. So
I've been playing NBA 2K24, right? I tell you, this is genuinely true. Call me the cat burglar. I achieved 17 steals in one game.
Didn't you have 12?
I did. But the best part of it was I managed the first 9 steals were all in the first quarter. I was thieving that ball like a motherfucker, and I did it with no fouls. I committed no fouls, and then in about in the first 4 seconds of the second quarter, I fouled. I was like, but the problem is if you do 2 fouls in quick succession, the coach like shits himself and like will yank me off the pitch. Not the pitch, the court. Sorry, I'm talking about football. Like yank me off the court. Not to be confused with wank me off the court, Stefan, because that's something completely different. But anyway, But that being said, I was very pleased. I was very pleased with myself. No problem, mate. Go on. I will. I'll filibuster and I'll just talk shit to the audience. I'm probably not going to talk shit. No, I'll talk shit to the audience. You know what? I'm going to read them the box score. I'll read them the score right now. Like, I'm going to go right. Basically, in the first quarter, the Miami Heat, who I believe play at the Kaseya Arena. I kind of only know that because Monday Night Raw's there sometimes. Anyway, it was 22-23 in the first quarter. But then the Heat basically turned up they started winning more. The second quarter was 17-28, giving the total obviously of 51-39. But Gary, 17 steals, my friend. 17. 9 in the first quarter. Like, smashing the NBA record. Smashing it. I've also... I'm going to attempt to break the rookie... I'm going to attempt to break the rookie record for triple doubles. For anyone who doesn't know, triple double is obviously when you get into double digits of a certain metric. I believe it's out of 5 metrics. Obviously, points scored, assists made, steals, rebounds, and I think there's a 5th, but I can't remember what it is because it's quite difficult to obtain. Anyway, Gary knows more about basketball than me. But my first triple double was achieved with the rebounding. But then because I upgraded my character more to where I'm more likely to be able to make the steals. Managed to get a delicious steals record.
Oh, come on.
I've got 9 triple doubles, and I believe the record for a rookie is 26. So I've got 20 games of the season left. So I need a lot of triple doubles in my. I'm gonna get fouled out so many times.
So who you playing as? What team?
I'm the Boston Celtics, but that's mainly because I've always played as the Boston Celtics. Because when I played NBA Live, I think it was 2007, 8, something like that.
All right.
The game made me be the Boston Celtics. So I created my character, and it basically was like, "Oh, you've been drafted by the Boston Celtics." I was like, "Great!" I had no idea.
Wasn't that the year that they had Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett?
You're probably right because I think they're called the Big Three, aren't they? Because that's when they beat the LA Lakers.
That's Spencer. Right, yeah.
Finals. Hello, Spencer. But I feel it was the year before they were really good. But basically, I'm really like basically I like this sounds really silly. I like the Green Bay Packers because on NFL Madden 09, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I created myself, and it went. You got drafted by the Green Bay Packers again. I was like, great. I thank God I wasn't drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, obviously, because they suck.
Tom,
suck.
That year, right? The Celtics beat, yeah. The year before,
sarcasms.
they played back to back years, the Lakers and Celtics. And then 2009-10 season, the Lakers played the Heat. Magic. Sorry, the Magic. That's what it was, Magic.
I remember one year, I think it was either 2011 or 12, one of the two, where I had the Boston Celtics at 33-1 to win the NBA title. And all I needed was them to get, you get a fraction of the. I needed them to get to the finals, and I would have got the equivalent of 11-1, even if they lost the final, and I'd have made big profit. And they went if I remember rightly, they went 3-2 up against. I'm sure it was the Miami Heat, and I thought, oh great, I've just got to win one more game. Miami Heat won the next two. I was like, I've got nothing. I'm blaming retroactively. I'm blaming Gary for that.
Right. So, as you know, I'm a hockey fan as well. My Flyers missed out on making playoffs. By 1 point, they should have beaten the Capitals last night. They didn't, unfortunately. Their young team, Tom. They're going through a lot of transitions. Rebuild was really so they started the season really good, but they lost 9 straight games. And as you know, you can't really lose that many games in a row. They expect to make the playoffs. To me, Tom, it's quite like Leeds and Arsenal. They kind of tanked at the wrong time of the season. They had a lot of good young players, but unfortunately, they're missing a couple pieces to make that team better. So they're really close to the playoffs, like I said, and they kind of overachieved a little bit as far as points total and wins, losses, and all that. So it was kind of hard to take in, but typical Eagles teams, Philadelphia teams, they have good starts to the season and then they crumble. Just like the Sixers, they lost Joel Embiid for the majority of the season, and he's come back now. They won, I think, in 7 straight games, and obviously they're struggling tonight. And the Eagles lost, like I think 5 in a row, 6 in a row, and then they lost to Buccaneers. They got blown out in the playoffs by the Buccaneers, so I figured that I would get my hockey talk in, and the playoffs start pretty soon. So it's quite not a good day, not a good time to be a Philadelphia sports fan. Um, anyway, so in NASCAR, Martin Truex Jr. finished 14th after, get this, Tom, his pit crew missed the tire change twice. So essentially, essentially he had to go back to pit road to get his tire replaced twice, and that kind of cost him because he was 2 laps down and was at one point at 30 seconds. But he's so good that he finished 14th. That's right, Spencer. I forgot about that. So the Lakers lost in finals to the Celtics in 2008. The Lakers beat the Magic in 2009. Spencer. Lakers beat the Celtics in 2010. So yeah, Spencer's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, so now I had one lug nut instead of 5. So they kind of messed that up for his team. But Spencer, Tom, guess what? They have a new rear tire changer. So hopefully it works out for Martin Truex Jr. and the number 19 team. So there you go.
When I heard you talk about Philadelphia Flyers, I don't know why, but always because my brother liked the Philadelphia Flyers because we went through our natural hockey phase as children.
Did you really?
When you watch like the Mighty Ducks movies, obviously you become the biggest hockey fans ever for like 5 minutes, and basically he liked the Philadelphia Flyers because we also got the video game. I think it was NHL '98, if I remember right.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, I have it. It's just always burned in my mind that you'd get loads of goals from John Leclerc and Eric Lindros.
Eric Lindros, yeah, man.
Was seared into my brain, Obviously, I like the Detroit Red Wings, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, they're a
I'll
powerhouse.
say at the time, no, they're terrible now, but I'm never going to stop following their scores and that because I don't give up on teams. But even if they give up on themselves with how they play, that being said, in my mind, always I have Nicholas Lindstrom, Paul Coffey,
Check your photo
Fedorov.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, just names. Just don't get me wrong. If you stood Paul Coffey in front of me, I couldn't tell you what he looked like. If you had a gun to my head, and put a line of 5 people, and went one of them is Sergei Fedorov, I'll just take the gun off you and shoot myself in the head. Just save everyone's time. But name wise, it's like they were good. They were.
You know, it's funny you mentioned Paul Coffey because Paul Coffey was actually a Philadelphia Flyer for a couple of years. But I had NHL, I did 98 as well, Tom, and they had the old Nintendo 64 is when I had NHL 98. And it had Eric Lindros was on the cover of it, I believe, right? Or was it 99? And
he's definitely on the cover of one of them in the late 90s. I think 97 is a Detroit player. I think it might actually be Fedorov. I could be wrong there. Let me, you know what? You know, I haven't got time. NHL 98, I'll Google it. Actually, NHL 98 is the Colorado Peter Forsberg of the Avalanche. But you know what? We'll go because it's definitely one of them. 99. Yeah, 99 is Eric Lindros.
Right. Okay.
And yeah, because he's in a Flyers outfit. And 97. Oh, 97 is goaltender.
Was it Chris Osgood? Van Beasley. Okay. Panthers.
Yeah. 96. There definitely is one where it's Fedorov though. So I don't know what one. Anyway. Oh, Steve. I don't know why the name. All these names we're thrown out, and no one says Steve Eiserman.
Captain.
He only played in the NHL for about 76 years.
Captain Steve.
Yeah.
It's funny to say that, Tom, because they too were chasing that final playoff spot. Last night they lost to the Canadiens. No, they won in overtime. That's what it was. So Tom, yeah, so they're going through growing pains right now. And next year will be very different. They just got to sign some good players, and they'll be just fine, I think. So, Tom, so tomorrow is a 100th episode of the Full Nelson podcast. Could you tell us what the audience will be expecting from said podcast?
If you are expecting me to shout at Tony and basically show photos of what happened on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and NXT, then you will get exactly what you wished for. Basically, fans of Tony doing silly things and then me telling them off for doing silly things, you'll get exactly what you want. Because here's what it is.
Well, Tom, by the way, the main reason why I like bringing it on this show is because it segues into our favorite cameo from my favorite 60s, 70s, and 90s, and sometimes 90s pop star.
Oh, okay. Well, I do apologise, everyone. I do have to go to the little boy's room. So, I don't know when I'll be back. Probably sooner than you think, but not as soon as you'd hope. So, yeah, I'll see you in a minute, everyone. Hey, everybody! This is Michael Jackson! Shimon, motherfucker. Bitch, Donna, Shimon. Could you be the most beautiful BX in the world?
Oh my god.
I must go now. My planet needs me. Michael Jackson died on the way home to his home
Oh
planet.
no. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow time. I'm off tomorrow. I gotta pay a visit to my oral surgeon to see how that. So, but it's just only a checkup. So I'll be on tomorrow with you guys, with us.
Okay.
Hopefully Tony will turn up as well as Mr. Greenwood because he is the life of the party. Right. So Tom, I'm gonna highlight these real quick so people won't get left out. It's up. Lonzo and Tom.
Oh, hang on.
Rondo, Pierce, Allen, Garnett, and
Check.
Perkins.
I've got a thing from Mr. Spencer. Ah.
Still,
Oh, see. Actually, that does sound familiar. NHL Face-Off, to be fair to him. Yeah.
wasn't that made by 989 Sports?
You could be right because it in the photo it says Sony Interactive Sports, but I'm guessing that's the same thing. So
Mhm.
I don't know, but
I,
yeah,
I was kind of different, Tom. I was always loyal to EA Sports. I don't know why, but maybe the graphics were a bit better. But I remember, do you remember NFL like quarterback club?
I remember it, but I never replayed it. It was one of those games where they're like, where the reviews would always be like, "Oh yeah, this would be fun for a couple of minutes," but then you'll just wish you had bought NFL Madden instead.
So, in my opinion, I always thought that any NFL quarterback club on, I believe it was Nintendo 64, had slightly better graphics than Madden back in the day. Um, yeah, they come with competing games. Spencer, I don't know if I'm gonna be on because I believe I'm working until 9 o'clock. However, I might be on afterward. NFL game day, and Spencer says 989 make competing games against EA Sport
I
until
said to
2004.
Spencer, if it really came down to it, I'd start my show as it's like a one-off. I'd start my show even earlier if he really wanted me to, but I believe he seems to believe that we can be done with our show in time for the NFL draft. So, you know, however you want to slice that, it's fine. But yeah. So
As you wind down, Tom, I want to ask you when are we going to have our next watch along? Wrestling match, wrestling match along.
I've no idea. I've actually not even really thought about it because I'm quite looking forward because I feel like I've been online so often that I'm and obviously I did so many shows last week that I'm just like, oh my god! Like I enjoyed last Saturday because it was like I finished the road trip, and then it was oh my god, and I'm not going to be on the computer for another 2 days or something like this. And it was amazing. No, that's a lie because I did the lead show on the Sunday. That's not true. But it was just nice. Not have a good night, Spencer. But
Cheers,
to answer
Spencer.
your question, I don't actually know when we'll be
No
on
problem.
one. Well, because
I'm
there's
just
a lot of WWE show between now and SummerSlam. All the WWE shows are actually going to be early in the afternoon for you guys, evening for me, because they're all in Europe or Saudi Arabia, of course.
Bye, Spencer. Right, Tom. So I'm going to close the show out. I want to thank everyone who stopped by and chat. BX, Spencer, Gary, Stefan. And thank you, Mr. Tom, for spending your evening with me, talking about Arsenal, talking about things moving forward, a little bit of basketball, hockey, etc. I appreciate you being on, being my co-host, and thank you for Gary also for spending time with us as well. All right, Tom, anything you like to say?
Yeah, I have one thing, right? I was once asked the question, what movie has a plot hole that can't be ignored? And I thought, well, I can't think of one for a movie. That's a lie. I think of a lot. But in the show Friends, Chandler and Joey love the movie Die Hard. And they constantly reference that they love the movie Die Hard. But then Rachel, played by Jennifer Aniston, dates Bruce Willis. And they never reference anything to do with Die Hard.
You know, it's funny you say that, Tom. My uncles actually grew up with Bruce Willis in New Jersey.
He's a
Fun
really
fact.
swell guy. He was great in Friends, Bruce Willis, to be fair
He
to him.
was
But,
amazing.
yeah, he was great. Most things. Not the kid, obviously. No one watched that film. But but no, yeah, sorry. I don't mean to
Thank you,
hold you up.
Gary.
Have a good
Right.
night, Gary. BX.
So we're going to close out the show now. Again, thanks for if you're watching on replay. Thanks for watching it. Thanks for hearing it. Until next time, guys. Take care. Goodbye.